About 1,200 Australians die each year from melanoma, and until recently there's been little hope for those whose skin cancer has spread. But research published today shows an experimental drug can shrink secondary melanoma tumours in the brains of 90% of patients. Natasha Johnson reports.
Pumping weights in his garage, Chad Everett looks a fit, healthy teenager. But in September last year, the then 16-year-old was diagnosed with secondary melanoma tumours in the brain, lungs and lymph nodes.
I was pretty devastated. I was just really shocked. 1 minute I was fine, and then the next minute I had heaps of emotional thoughts going through my mind. Couldn't really put it all together. Still kind of shocked.
He'd had a mole removed about 12 months before, which was thought to be benign, but then an innocuous-looking cyst, which came up on his neck, was found to have melanoma cells.
Oh, it's gut-wrenching. I think anybody's reaction would be the same. I mean, your children aren't supposed to get anything bad wrong with them. You know, as a mother, you're supposed to be able to protect them from all the bad things.
The grief on the faces of doctors delivering the news was a frightening sign that the situation was dire and there was little they could do.
Yeah, that was the most horrifying couple of weeks of our lives. Just, you know, we thought Chad was going to die.
When melanoma goes to the brain, most patients die within 3 months. There is no effective treatment so far that prolongs life.
But now there may be. Chad Everett is believed to be the youngest person in the world taking part in the trial of a promising experimental drug called dabrafenib, which targets a genetic mutation known as BRAF found in half of all melanomas.
We had hope where there wasn't much.
While patients with brain tumours are usually excluded from drug trials because of their poor prognosis, researchers from Melanoma Institute Australia and Westmead Millennium Institute lobbied hard for their inclusion in testing dabrafenib, and today they're celebrating its success in shrinking secondary brain tumours for the first time.
It's a huge breakthrough. This is a major step, not just for melanoma, but for cancer in general.
In results published in the prestigious medical journal The Lancet, brain tumours shrank in 9 out of 10 patients taking part. While they all eventually died, all survived past 5 months, 2 past 12 months, and 1 was still alive at 19 months.
Never before has any drug been as effective in terms of solid tumours in the brain that have spread to the brain. So it's quite an amazing finding.
This is the originals, isn't it?
Such success has led to further trials involving another 172 patients like Chad Everett. 2 large tumours in his brain were removed surgically, but since he's been on the drug, 2 in his brain, 2 in his lungs and lymph nodes have disappeared, and only 1 lung tumour remains.
Here we are, clean scans.
Yeah, I was very happy when I got the first results back from the scans. It was like ecstatic.
7:30 first reported on the emergence of this new treatment 18 months ago when we met Julie Sutton, a 41-year-old mother of 1.
When it came up melanoma, I just went, oh, you know, you just think, you know, is there any hope?
A self-confessed sun worshipper in the past, Julie Sutton had secondary tumours in her lungs, adrenal gland and ovaries.
So that's your baseline scan over there, and you can see the mass at the top of your adrenal there.
After 2 years on the drug, there's no sign of cancer.
And there's nothing there above it. That's fantastic.
That's excellent.
So it's been 2 years of a complete response. It's fantastic.
Been lucky.
Yeah, it's great.
In the first 6 weeks of being on the trial, my tumour's halved. It's a miracle, really. I feel like I'm the luckiest person alive, really. I never thought that, you know, 2 years down the track, I'd still be here, healthy, happy.
The new drug isn't a cure as cancer ultimately builds up resistance, but researchers are now working on ways to combat that. In the meantime, it's on average doubling patients' life expectancy, and for doctors working in the field, that's at least something to offer when for decades there's been nothing.
Look, I can tell you in 30 years of working with this disease, there is absolutely no question that this is the most important step forward in the treatment of the disease. I remember when the results were first shown at the American Society of Clinical Oncology there was a standing ovation.
For years we've been at the base camp of Mount Everest trying to start our journey to the top, and always starting and then having to go back to base camp. But I really feel now that we're off base camp. We've made a good journey halfway up the mountain.
Have you ever seen two such lovable twins?
Grateful to have been given a second chance, patients like Julie Sutton and Chad Everett will be cheering them all the way.
I just, spend every minute I can with my daughter and my husband.
I love you, Mum.
Love you too.
Is that what you went, Chad? I went Grenadier or something.
Didn't really know if I was going to make it or not, and then I found out about this drug, and there was really hope there for once.
Yeah, I want you to get famous for this.